We're going to talk about clearly what you're doing in back in South Africa and your views on how tech can help the important issues that you're contending with and trying to change public consciousness of. But I want to ask one question, because I know to you the name Mandela is a name you're used to and grew up with, but to everyone around the world it is still one of the most important names in the world. So I wondered how you felt carrying the name Mandela and what it meant to you in your life.
I think the name Mandela for me means basically being accountable, taking responsibility, really having what we call in Africa Ubuntu, that is you are because of the other people around you, and that the sense of community, the sense of being integrated into a community or society, being inclusive, being part of a diverse society culture is very, very important. And so that's what I take out of the name Mandela.
And is the name Mandela as revered in South Africa as it is around the world?
Yes, it is revered, but you have to understand that South Africa still faces a lot of challenges. Despite that fact that we have advanced in terms of technology, we are faced with a lot of social inequity problems that actually are a vestige of the apartheid system.
And let's talk about those social challenges first of all, because right here we have some of the most important tech people in the world. Would you, when you look at South Africa compared to other countries, possibly in Africa by way of your continent, would you say tech in South Africa is in a good place, in a bad place, is progressing well, has a lot more it needs to do? Where would you feel tech is in the journey that South Africa needs compared to the rest of the world?
I think when we look at South Africa, and more especially on the subcontinent of Africa, I think tech has been good in various instances, especially in agriculture, which I'm very, very passionate about. I think tech has helped a lot of women in terms of mobile technology, that they can connect with markets, they can connect with other traders, they can check prices in the morning of where to sell their goods. It has been able to open other markets for them. But having said that, also in South Africa, I mean, South Africa is one of the advanced countries in the subcontinent. Tech has been good in various ways in terms of the technology that is there, in terms of utilities where you can buy utilities using card payments. But still, there's a huge gap. There's a divide in terms of equity, in terms of technology, because tech has benefited mainly those who are rich and wealthy, who can afford. Access is not very, very easy. Also, you have to understand that the issue of internet penetration in Africa is still very, very limited. Even in South Africa, internet connectivity is still very limited and is not actually sustainable. So there are plus and minuses of technology. The other thing is that if you look at the subcontinent of Africa, you have to understand that we have been left behind in terms just of economic development, in terms of the first, second, and third wave, much more so now with the new frontier technologies that are coming up. There's a huge divide that's there. However, Africa is positioned with a lot of resources that the world needs, that the world uses in its technology. And I think that it is a shame that we will be left behind in terms of the new technologies. And that calls on most of the tech companies to rethink their strategies in terms of development of these technologies, that they just don't benefit the first world countries, but they are technologies that can be innovated and adapted to African realities and conditions.